Hello everyone.
I'm Max from Canada.
I'm Suchi from Thailand.
We are a married couple. We live together in Thailand with our 12 dogs. And I found a video. American food that are banned in other country. And let me tell you, American food in Canada, very popular. Here in Thailand, American food is everywhere in store. By the way, we have a channel membership. Buy me a coffee. All the money go towards our dog, one of which have diabetes. So this is why we have this YouTube channel. Yes, let's get started.
Most Americans want to believe that the United States is the gold standard of clean food. But that belief may not hold up to scrutiny. From unsanitary practices in mass production to the addition of dangerous chemicals, countries have good reason to give the side eye to imported foods claiming to be USDA approved. That's right. This week we're talking about American foods that have been banned by other countries. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History Food channel. Then leave a comment and tell us what other world food facts you would like to know more about. Now let's see how wrong the rest of the world really is.
It's like Pop-Tarts. It's so bad for
Since the dawn of
brain.
Skittles, there have been rumors about the dangers of eating them. Every one of us heard at least one classmate claim
don't
that
think
the
it's
red ones
popular
make
anymore,
you
though.
sterile, and the yellow ones, they give you cancer. Turns out, it might be worse than that. First of all, your classmate wasn't wrong. The dyes known as Yellow 5 and Yellow 6 have been linked to hives and hyperactivity in children. Sweden and Norway have banned the candies out of concern.
Wow.
The European Union
Why
will
they
most
did that?
likely be banning Skittles at the end of the year, having already...
No, but it's a good decision. When I was young, my mom keeps saying Skittle is bad. She had no proof. But every time that I was eating Skittle, my teeth were hurt and I had a headache. So I feel like there's something to it. I don't think it got banned in Canada, but I think that people stopped eating it just naturally at one point.
swapped out some of the dye for more natural flavors. This is because of something called titanium dioxide, which can be found making the colors pop across the rainbow. Research linked titanium dioxide to damaged DNA, which can lead to cancer. While Europe may be ahead of the Skittles
See, they use
awareness
that just for
curve,
the color
America is quickly catching
on
up.
the Skittle.
In May of 2021, the Environmental Working Group asked the FDA to categorize titanium dioxide as toxic. And yes, before you ask, right now the FDA says it's okay to consume some of that chemical compound. You can taste the rainbow, but just in moderation. California is home to an ongoing lawsuit against Mars Inc., the parent company of Skittles. The lawsuit claims Skittles are not only toxic, but are unfit for human consumption.
They had a lot of products.
So maybe for now, play it safe. Just go have some
Such
Swedish
a big
fish
industry,
instead.
huh? You can get poisoned, but just a little bit.
Bread?
What? Which?
Ever looked at a piece of crusty French baguette, be it in cartoon or in real life? But let's be honest, it was probably in the hands of Pepe Le Pew, and think, I can't make a sandwich with that. As great as we talk about the invention of sliced bread, a lot of European countries have actually banned much of what you'd find on America's wide grocer shelves.
Really?
That's because we make a lot of our bread not just with grain, but with a variety snap packs worth of additives, like azodicarbonamide, for example, which helps bleach flour and strengthen dough. Fun fact about azodicarbonamide, it's also used in a spectrum of industrial products, including yoga mats. Downward dogs. The European Union is really against the idea of its citizens eating yoga mat material and has banned their use in food products.
Wait, so which country is known for bread? I'm talking about not the big bread that they show on the screen, but the bread that you eat with the peanut butter and the breakfast. Like, what kind of bread? Which country does make it? I'm not sure in Thailand where it come from, the bread. I never look at the country it come from.
I think it come from here. That
Thai,
why the
right?
bread never
Okay.
be good. That why you said Thai bread is
Yeah,
not
Thai
good.
bread is not good.
Because they didn't put yoga mat in it.
No, but I know Australia also. Anyway, pork. But everyone know about
Pork,
red meat,
the other
right?
white meat, is a staple of American meats, along with chicken, fish, and beef. From bacon to ham, hot dogs to pork chops. American meat eaters consume about 67 pounds of pig per person every year.
Yeah, but even
Sweet.
pork in
My
Europe
heart
is not
is
good. Pork is not good
stopping.
as a whole, you know.
Don't get us wrong. Other nations indulge in swine just as much, if not more, than Americans. So why doesn't the U.S. export scores of succulent bacon-bearing boars? Well, it turns out America adds a lot of chemicals during processing. Ractopamine in particular is used in many pig farms to raise porkier porkers. Ractopamine, which we put a dash of in a lot of foods,
Yes.
has been banned in 160 countries, which all consider the drug unsafe for human consumption.
Yeah, to
This
make sure
in
that
turn
they
has
grow
led to a
fat and can have a
prohibition
lot
of
of
pork exports across the
good
world.
meat, you know.
The EU hasn't touched the stuff since outlawing ractopamine in 2009. China and Russia have been ractopamine-less since 2013. Maybe that's because ractopamine has the same effects as an intoxicant on humans and can cause tachycardia, headaches, and muscle spasms if consumed in large enough quantities. But it
This
is
deal
a
was
small
scary.
price to pay
Yeah.
for a perfect piece of the pork.
Chicken?
Hygiene in America often comes down to dousing stuff in a chlorine bath and calling it FDA approved.
If you cannot eat chicken, you cannot eat any meat from America because there's nothing healthier than chicken when it comes to meat, you know? This white
And
meat.
chicken is no exception. Pathogen reduction treatments, or PRTs, refer to the use of different chemicals to destroy harmful microbes on raw meat. Somewhere along the line, American food regulators decided a quick chlorine shock was the best way to kill salmonella and other bacteria on uncooked poultry. Chlorine marinade. And
Ayo.
look, it's not that the EU is against
Chlorine,
taking
what you
a
put in the
long
swimming
gulp
pool?
from the public pool now and then. In fact, the risks posed by chlorine consumption are relatively low. The bigger concern is that the chlorine baths are just an eye-burning Band-Aid on a larger problem. The tip of the beak, so to speak. They're worried that the PRTs are insufficient to deal with more than just the normal bacteria and don't get at a potential contamination from things like low-quality feed to unsanitary coops on farms. The EU called the chlorine rinse an easy fix, arguing no chemical rinse will ever remove all bacteria from meat heavily contaminated as a result of poor hygiene.
That's
That
why
hurts.
Americans are fat. They add so much stuff to their food that become addictive. All the sugary and the protacpin stuff that make you like addicted to certain type of food.
And also,
Like-
like, I have heard like why the American kid we used to make fun why they are like so big, thing like that, because they eat the chicken that put the chemical in it to make the chicken grow fast.
Oh,
Then
there's
they
story
eat
like
the-
this in Thailand about
Yes.
that? Oh my god. Well, the reputation never...
It's-
to be fair, you guys in Europe are becoming fatter, huh? So,
It's extra to hear it from the French.
Mountain Dew. It's not really popular
Mountain
here, right?
Dew
I not
is
even
the
know.
closest any soft drink has come to being fully weaponized. But did you know in Austria and Norway, the soda is outright banned?
Oh, only two
That's
countries.
because Mountain Dew's signature Chernobyl radiant hue comes from tartrazine, also known as yellow 5. And if your ADHD hasn't kicked in yet, you'll remember that color and number from the Skittles section earlier. It's been linked to headaches, hyperactivity, and the desire to be annoying
Headaches,
to other
exactly.
people. Ironically, the
That's
qualities
true.
that make Mountain Dew a soda non gratis in other countries is exactly what the brand promotes, a frenetic, over-caffeinated lifestyle. Do the do. Baja Blast. Woo-hoo. And while you might be able to find Mountain Dew in Europe, it's going to hit a little different. That's because Europe spent exactly 2 years in the 90s riding the dew before discontinuing it. What is being sold as Mountain Dew in the EU has a recipe closer to the original carbonated beverage, as created by Tennessee beverage bottlers Barney and Ollie Hartman in the 1940s.
Huh, they have
The
their own
original
version
Mountain
of it.
Dew was meant as a whiskey mixer, with a name coming
Oh.
from the affectionate Scottish term for moonshine. It'll tickle your innards, is what the old ads used to read. No lies detected here.
Yahoo! Mountain Dew!
Little Debbie?
What the hell is Little Debbie?
Eh?
Little Debbie has
She
been
looks
providing
so
Americans with
familiar.
comfort snack food since the 1960s, with their variety of zebra cakes, star crunches, nutty bars, fudge rounds, and cosmic brownies. But their
Oh.
big claim to fame, as anyone who has ever had their lunch packed by a parent can attest, is the Little Debbie Swiss Rolls, a mixture
we have
of
a
rich
lot here
chocolate cake
of
and
this.
butter-creamy filling.
This
Over
give it, eh? Gotta
900
get
million
that thing.
cartons of Little Debbie products are shipped each year, but none of those cartons go anywhere near Austria or Norway. Blame
Again,
those
Austria,
rascally
Norway.
additives, yellow 5 and red 40. Swiss rolls contain 32 milligrams of dye per product, and in those quantities, they've been shown to have an adverse effect on children. And we're not just talking about causing hyperactivity. although one study found that cutting all artificial food coloring from diets may be 1/2 as effective as
Yeah, things are
prescribing
always
kids
giving me
Ritalin.
a headache.
And while we can't prove there's a direct connection between artificial food coloring and cancer, they do cause damage to white blood cells, causing them to mutate after only 3 hours. Exposure to these dyes could cause tumor cells to multiply way more rapidly. For that reason, researchers say a high chronic intake of food colorings throughout the entire life is not advisable. If only they weren't so
see,
delicious.
oh yeah, that's why I have
Surprisingly, you can buy Little Debbie's Swiss rolls in the EU, but they come with warning labels advising parents of the potential dangers to kids. You know, like cigarettes.
That's crazy.
Oh, really? Kellogg? Huh. Only
When
the
you hear
special
the
K.
words banned breakfast cereal, you're probably imagining one of the countless kid-focused
Yeah,
brands of
Fruit
sugary
Loops, Cocoa
morsels,
Puff.
like the oh-so-delicious Cookie Crisp. So you might be surprised to learn that it's actually Special K, the most boring cereal on all of the earth, that has been banned in Denmark and discouraged in the EU.
Whoa.
How does the healthiest box of flakes on the shelf get banned, while stuff like Reese's Puffs and Cinnamon Toast Crunch continue to enjoy free passage? Ironically, because of its supposed health benefits. In the UK, Special K has been put on blast by the Advertising Standards Authority for exaggerating how much folic acid they pack into portions. Though
Wait, every company does that. You know, we have a lot of dog, we buy dog food. And on the label, it's never the true fat percentage, never the true fiber percentage. You need to calculate the moisture in the calculation. Those labels need to always be taken with like a grain of salt because yeah, they are lying on the label. They are not telling the full story of the ingredient. But that's true with every food. It's not just
With
this.
still legal to buy in Europe, Denmark has completely banned Special K since 2004 for all its fortified vitamins and minerals. Regulators argue that Kellogg's cereal's unnaturally high levels of everything from vitamin A to zinc actually qualify Special K as a genetically modified organism, or GMO. More specifically, Special K is swole with the same artificial compounds that studies have shown to potentially pose health risks, specifically to children and pregnant women. In conclusion, you may want to stick with crunch berries.
Steak. Okay, no, they ban everything now.
You don't
All
need to
the
take
meat,
a
like I said.
transcontinental flight to visit countries that have banned American foods. Just drive up to the Canadian border, flash your passport, and sign an affidavit saying you're not smuggling any steak tartare in your trunk. Today, consuming raw meat has fallen out of fashion in the U.S., much like other foods like veal and pate, which don't make you sick but might make you
In
sad.
Canada, we eat a lot of
But
steak
while baby
tartare,
cow and overstuffed goose liver is illegal in parts of America now,
See, I don't
tartare
like
is
it.
not. See, while veal and pate may be uncool, they are also served hot, unlike tartare, which is chopped up cold meat, straight from the cow. Undercooked or raw foods can lead to an increase in food poisoning and parasitic infections, especially in beef and poultry.
Well, we eat a lot
But
of
considering
raw
how
here.
fancy pants steak tartare is, Titanic food one might say, you'd think countries might look the other way and let the luxury delicacy slide. And for a long time they did. In Canada, meat has to reach an internal temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit, the equivalent of a medium rare
Yeah.
steak, in order to be considered safe to serve. But those rules aren't strictly enforced. That is, until recently. In 2021, restaurant owners in New Brunswick selling steak tartare were all served cease and desist letters.
Oh, wow.
Canadian public health
No,
officials...
no, when I was young, steak tartare was, especially in the restaurants that are like 3 stars or more, there was steak tartare everywhere. It's an appetizer. It's before the main dish. They steak the steak tartare like on cracker or on bread or something. And this was but this was not illegal at all. There was no restriction about that. I never got sick from it, but this is for expensive stuff for rich people, so I didn't have
had
access to
decided that amid the ongoing health crisis of COVID-19, the last thing their citizens needed was a side order of botulism.
Coca-Cola, really? Suji's favorite.
Is there
No
anything
way,
more
it's
American
you.
than Coca-Cola? The fizz, the flavor,
My
the
Fanta.
former secret ingredient,
Suji like Fanta from
cocaine.
Germany.
Coke is basically apple pie in beverage form. And it's not just Americans who are cuckoo for Coke. Invented by a pharmacist in 1886 Georgia, Coca-Cola quickly caught on overseas. It was the World War II GI's drink of choice. Pre-pandemic, Coca-Cola had 500 brands in over 200 countries, making it the best-selling
Wow.
soft drink and one of the most recognizable brands of all time. But there will always be exceptions. And unlike the other entries on the list, for once, it has nothing to do with health concerns. Everybody knows that Coke is not good for you. We just decided collectively that we don't care. No, the countries that have outlawed the brand have done so because of what it represents, a symbol of the encroachment of American capitalism.
Okay.
From 1962
Oh,
to
come on.
2011, the
Are we gonna
U.S.
pretend like Europe is not capitalism, like heavily
wait.
capitalism?
banned sales of Coke to Burma as part of sanctions against the military junta that ruled the country until
Oh, yeah, that's
2011. It resumed sales in the country in 2012. Today, Coca-Cola is only unavailable in 2 countries with long-term trade embargoes with the U.S. North Korea hasn't allowed Coke since 1950, and the bubbly beverage has been banned in Cuba since Fidel Castro ceased supplies in 1962. First the prequels, now Coke. Is there anything that can't be ruined by the federalization of trade taxation? In a twist of irony and lime, Cuba was actually one of the first bottlers of the beverage outside of America. Today, Cuba Cola has replaced Coke as the country's soft drink of choice, though black market sales abound. After all, it is the birthplace of the Cuba Libre, aka the rum and Coke.
I was gonna say Skittles is gonna be there, so M&M is gonna be
M&Ms,
Oh, yeah, that what it
the
made me think
delicious
about
melt
that.
in your mouth, not in your hand snacks, were originally a collaboration between the Scion sons of the Mars.
This one never give me a headache compared to Skittles. Skittles always give me a headache. M&M is fine.
I can eat that much. I can, but it like expensive. That why.
Yeah, it's
And
expensive
Hershey
chocolate
dynasties in 1941. Like Coca-Cola, M&Ms gained international fans during World War II, as American soldiers popularized the candy overseas as the chocolate that won't get your trigger finger all sticky. But you won't find the candy in Sweden, where it's banned due to a trademark conflict with a popular national candy that also features lowercase m's as its signature.
Oh.
When Mars
Yeah,
introduced the
okay, I
candy to
understand.
Sweden in 2009, a court ruled its marketing too similar to that of the Norwegian Marabous, which resemble Kit Kats. During
Oh.
World War I, Marabou
I've
had moved its
n-
manufacturing to its...
I've never had this Marabou. Wait. I feel like I've seen it in the duty-free shop, maybe.
Yes, it is.
Marabou, huh? Duty-free
Yeah,
shop in
we
the
were-
in the airport and in the border.
We were talking like, oh, what is this? Is this a cigarette? Because it sounds like cigarette.
Yeah, I think we have
Swedish
it. but only in
neighbors,
duty-free.
where it received a royal warrant of appointment by the King of Sweden. And here we thought the Swiss were the chocolate snobs. Should you want to check out what the fuss is all about, Marabou's is sold in IKEA stores here in the U.S. Well, at least it's good to know that M&Ms don't contain any harmful dyes or chlorine residue, right? That's a pretty important victory
It doesn't even
for
look like an M&M,
hard-shelled
the Marabou.
chocolate.
Completely different.
So what do you think? Which
It
of these
just looks
banned
similar.
foods sounds the
The
most
packaging.
delicious? Let us know in the comments below.
Well, basically, seems like it's banned everything.